Okay, welcome everybody. It is 11 o'clock in Brisbane. Quite frankly, and a few other places, but here we go. We are ready to roll in our CRM webinar. Now, what I might do, because I have not exactly a ton of people, I might ask our participants. We've got Beck there at the moment. If you want to unmute her computer audio thing, and we can actually have a chat as we walk through this, which would be kind of cool. Make it a bit interactive if you like. Hello, Beck. Beck, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, you're there. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do some really cool, little bit of screen sharing. That one will do to start with. And we're going to roll through a little bit of basic CRM. Hang on. Now everybody wants to come and play. Come back here. Hang on a sec, Beck. Just bear with me for a second. Gwen, if you wanted to unmute your computer, you can have a chat with the rest of us too. That'd be really cool. Hello, Gwen. You there?
Hello. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Can you see me?
No, I can't, but the webinars are set up so that you actually don't have video. I can just hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Perfect.
Okay. Right. Why not seeing you is perfect, but that's okay. I'm assuming that I'm assuming that you guys can see me yapping away here in my studio. So let's get into CRMs. As you can see from the screen there, on Business Station, we deliver the federal government's digital solutions program in Queensland, WA, the Northern Territory, and it is funded by AusIndustry, one of the government departments, and it's one of the really cool things the government does. For those of you who are just watching the webinar due to Eventbrite registration and you're not actually part of the digital solutions program, 7 hours of mentoring, one-on-one advice, webinars, workshops, targeted to something that you want to improve in your business in a digital sense. $44 including G. It is the bargain of a business lifetime. So if you're not part of it, jump onto the Business Station website, register, and you'll get some pretty in-depth help on pretty much anything you want. It's very cool. Anyway, CRMs. Let's roll. Now, these are the big, basically, do you need one? What's a CRM anyway? And how do you work out if you actually, which one do you need? So if we just look very quickly, what is a CRM anyway? Customer Relationship Management System. I'm going to be a bit harsh on all of them, and they're a glorified database which enables you to email out to your clients, track your sales process, measure how important they are to you, and basically have a better grip on who your customers are and maintain that close ties. Do you need one is always a really cool question. Now, typical CRM, we'll dive into one in a second because I actually have a live one just off to the side here. Now, if you have recurring sales or you have customers that you want to keep in touch with, you need a CRM. If you have a multi-stage sale process with a long lead time or there's bits and pieces that you're going through, you need a CRM. If you'd like to be able to keep in touch with clients, even if they only buy from you occasionally or they might refer business to you, you need a CRM. Pretty much, unless you're McDonald's, that sort of fast turnover, you don't care whether they come back to you or not because they're going to come back to you anyway type business, you need a CRM. And I say that with a lot of confidence because you can put in place a really good bit of gear, a very powerful CRM for nothing, free. Gratis, nada, zip, doesn't cost you a cent. And you can set that sort of technology up in less than half an hour. And I can say that quite confidently because I sat down with one of our clients last week it was for 30 minutes. He had 30 minutes left of a session with me and we banked it. We saved it until I could get down and see him and sit down and we set up a CRM. We imported his contacts. We sent out a test email so he could see what they looked like. We started setting up his sales pipeline in less than 30 minutes. And that system was free. Actually, no, sorry. The emails go out with the brand of that CRM on them. So essentially, you're advertising them, so that's all you pay. So it's free. Okay. Now, a typical CRM. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Ooh, where are we? Here we go. Atypical CRM. Now, here we have live. I'm going to pop it over. I'm not ignoring you. So I'm running on two screens and the big, beautiful one is over there. So I'm kind of going to talk both ways. All right. This is Hubspot. Now, Hubspot is a very typical CRM in as much as it has a marketing side to it. It has a sales side to it. It has a service side to it, which is where you're interacting with your clients with issues raised by tickets. That's the end. It doesn't work. Why can't you talking to me type things? And it has an operations side to it as well. That with limited functionality is all free. It also has if you pay a whole lot more money, you get a whole lot more stuff. And that's where HubSpot becomes a little untypical, because once you start scaling up and what it will do for you, it can start costing you some money. But we'll talk about that a bit later. Okay, we've got a ton of time to go through that side of things. That's in terms of, is it an expense or an investment? But anyhow, let's dive into the fun side of HubSpot. Okay, and again, this is relatively typical. There are a couple of other, well, there's actually a fair few that are free in limited senses. The other two that I really like are Keap and Capsule. Now, I'm not sure what sort of business you guys are running, but if you're a sort of a small micro business, have a good hard look at Capsule. That's another very cool system. And again, not quite the functionality. I got paused. Sorry, just for 1 second. Okay, bear with me for a second. We just had a Zoom glitch. It was unusual. There we go, back online. How weird is that? Anyway, no dramas. Keap and Capsule. Capsule is a really cool CRM if you're a smaller micro business. Very easy to use, reasonable functionality. Keap, if you're slightly larger, in terms of you're running a few staff, you've got a protracted sales process. Okay, it takes a bit of setup and understanding, but it's very powerful. And HubSpot, again, takes a little bit of setup, but again, quite powerful. Now, here we go. Marketing Hub. This is your email side of it. This is how you stay in touch with your clients. It says here, recommend, okay, you can actually import your contacts via a CSV file, okay, and you can actually get some of your teammates. So if you're running multiple staff, they've got multiple contact books, you can put them all in here. As I'll show you in a minute, you can actually decide who they belong to. So everybody can have access to everyone's clients, or they can only have access to their own clients. And it will bring in data from another app. It has an ability to sync. Now, ladies, if you have a question at any stage, just ask, okay? Feel free to interrupt. This is supposed to be interactive if we can do it, which we can. So fire away. I'd much rather answer questions on the way through than have a whole ton at the end and have to go back. It's a lot easier that way, okay? Now, here's one of the really, really cool things, really good that I love about HubSpot. You can put a tracking code on your website. Now, this is why, okay? It'll put their details into your contact database. It will show them what you're doing on your website so that when you're talking to them, you can actually send them emails that relate to what they were looking at. So your communication is more personal, it's more targeted, it's more effective, okay? So you can use forms and away you go, okay? You can put live chat in there and answer questions in real time. Okay, so you're becoming, your website becomes almost like a sales counter with live interaction. Okay, and it's very simple to do. Again, the person I was with last week, we got the tracking code off to their web people in 10 seconds flat. It was done and it was set up later that day. So now he has that functionality on his website, so he knows who's visiting and where they're going. You can create forms for your websites. Okay.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
Does it integrate with MailerLite, or does it email like from within this program?
It emails from within HubSpot. However, when it comes to integrations, here, where do I find it? Hang on. Give it for 30 seconds. I'm sure it does. I just don't want to lead you astray. So just hang on there for 1 sec. I know that it speaks to MailChimp and Xero and a whole ton.
Okay, I can look into that, but some
That's
of them
okay.
do. Yeah, some of them do and some of them don't. It's really.
The reason I'm just asking you to hang on for 2 secs is I actually have it right here. Oops, I had it. Yes, it does integrate with MailerLite.
Okay, great.
Not a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
I know we actually use it, or they're just about to set it up within Business Station now for our use within our team, where we've got an integration between HubSpot, MailChimp, and Zapier. And the reason we're using MailChimp is because we can send out a lot more emails cheaper with MailChimp than we can with HubSpot.
Right. Okay.
When we had that discussion yesterday, I must admit I was having a little bit of a chuckle in the background because I use HubSpot. This is actually my own HubSpot that I use for my own business, where because all of the advisors within Business Station also do what we do within Business Station outside of Business Station in our own business, which is why Business Station want us to work with them. And I use HubSpot myself, so that's why we're going. This is actually my version we're looking at right now, as you can see in the top right corner.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
And
okay.
when they said we're going to use it within Business Station, I had a bit of a chuckle. I thought, I've only been hammering the HubSpot bandwagon for months about how cool it is for nothing. And anyway, rock and running, and I'm happy. Okay, I'm very happy because I love it. Okay, it's a great program. I love putting people into it. It's very, very handy. Sales Hub, the other side of it. And again, when you're looking at this, you need to keep in your mind that HubSpot and Keap and Capture, they all do more or less the same thing. They do it in slightly different ways. The language they use is slightly different, but the functionality is the same. So HubSpot is not the be all and end all. There are other ways of skinning the cat, so to speak. Sorry, Puss. But the reason I'm confident to sit here and talk to you for an hour or so about this is because I use this. Okay, this is actually mine, and there's a reason that I use it. Okay. The funny thing is it keeps saying getting started up by adding contacts. I've only got about 2,000 contacts in here at the moment, so I don't know what's going on there. Bizarre. But again, if you've got your contacts in an Excel spreadsheet, if you've got them in Shopify, which is something I did yesterday with a new client, we simply imported it straight across. So I create a CSV file, export, import, done, up and live and integrated. Okay. You can actually set up. Now, this is the sort of things you can set up on your contacts. That's not very nice. Let's have a look at them instead. Let's give it a second to find them all. Again, this is in the cloud. Okay, it's not sitting on my computer. So we have, like I said, almost 2,000 contacts. I've been a little bit lazy. There's been another couple of hundred to go throw in there for the last few weeks. Contact owner. We're not saying you can import contact from other people in your team. So you might have 3 sales people have their own database of the people they speak to, but you want, as a business owner, you want that oversight, that overall view of who your business is doing business with. And that's fine. You can import them all into your CRM and simply allocate different owners. So you can create lists based on which salesperson or which staff member is actually dealing with clients. But as the owner of the business, you've got that overview of everyone who's in the mix. Okay? Now, the reason there's no phone numbers in here is because these are pretty much pure email contacts that I've been using for email marketing. Okay, but again, you can fill in all of that detail. You can associate them to a company contact. It'll tell you when you last contacted them, and it'll also tell you what their lead status is. And again, you pick that as you're going and when they were created. Okay, and again, you can sort by all those things as well. You can just look for your contacts. So your actual team members can have their own access to HubSpot and they can simply look at the people they deal with. And when you've done a bulk upload, you can find out all the ones who aren't associated with anybody at all. And again, you can simply very easily allocate those to the appropriate person. Now, calls. You can actually call through Hubspot, which is kind of handy if you're running the app on your phone, and it will record the call, which is very, very cool. If you need to go back, particularly in a sales environment or in a customer service environment, and you want to make sure that what people say they said is actually what they did say. Okay, what promises were made, what representations were made, and what did or didn't transpire. Okay, very, very handy. Okay. And again, you also create lists from a marketing point of view. Okay. Very cool thing about HubSpot, and again, it's the same with the other ones, is they've always got built-in help. Okay, because about one step on all of that, there's a lot of tutorials in HubSpot. There's a lot of help online up here with HubSpot, and there's a lot of this stuff because they don't want to talk to you. Okay, they want you to work it out yourself. So they provide a lot of this stuff online in terms of tours, so you can very easily figure out what's going on and drive it yourself. Okay. Now, the reason we create lists is so you can actually send out specific emails to people. Okay. For example, this was under the old ASBAS program, which is the previous version of what we're delivering now. And I simply sent an email out to 90 odd people and said, hey, and gave them an update on what the program was at and why they should be involved. One of the cool things to come out of that, and we'll jump across to marketing now, and again, this is why CRMs are so important, is if we look at that email that I sent out, okay, if I'm going too fast, ladies, please jump in and say so. Okay, you can actually I can actually bring up the actual email that was sent, which is important if you've got some of your staff sending stuff out, so you can have a look at what they're punching out. And I get some analytics, okay, went out to 83 people. Almost a quarter of them, just over 20%, opened it up. Now, this is interesting. So only 16 of those were unique, but it was opened 54 times. So these people here have either gone back and reopened it to check some information, or they've shared it. And not only that, I can see where they're looking at it. Okay? This is important, okay? A lot of the new privacy blockers will block emails that CRM sent out. They see that it's a bulk email. So you need to know how to get around that. Well, sorry, that's a wrong phrase. You need to know that so you can reach out to your customers in another way. Now, click-through rate. All right. I had a URL in there which provided more information for people and allowed them to actually unsubscribe. Only a couple of people did that. So I wanted that to actually be quite low. I didn't want them going to that, here's how you get, here's how you tell me to go away thing. I wanted them to actually read the email and come on board, which they did. Nobody replied. That's fine. This was not a reply to email. Now, go down the page a little further. We've got delivery. So 72 of them landed, 11 bounced. And you can have a look at why they bounced. Soft bounce. Okay, so unknown user, which means that person's not there anymore or the URL's changed. So you've got to chase those up and say, hey, what's going on here? Soft bounce would mean that, okay, sorry, policy. See, rejected by security filter. So you've got to reach out to them a different way. Went to their spam filter. Okay, reach out to them a different way. Okay, something wrong with the email address. Reach out to them another way. Unknown user, again, same. Okay, so it gives you the sort of data you need to manage your campaign effectively. Okay. And very cool, 5 of them unsubscribed. So I know the people who really weren't interested, and we take them out of the list so we don't contact them in the future. Important information when it comes to from marketing and staying in touch with your client point of view. So if we go back, thank you very much, there we go. Okay, and you can actually figure out who it was who unsubscribed. And you can see who the people who opened up the most were. Okay, very, very handy information. And you can see who actually clicked through and sorted out stuff. Now, the thing with this is that I know how big their teams are. So I've got a good idea as to, are they sharing it around or are they simply reopening it themselves? It will also show you, if you spend some money, how many how much time they spend on it, and what sort of engagement they've got over time. Okay. And what sort of email client they use, which can be kind of handy from a privacy point of view. But again, you've got to upgrade. Now, let's just have a look for 10 seconds at what the next stage of CRMs can do for you. And then we'll come back to the free version. All right, now you're both still seeing this, I hope. Free tools. This is what we've got now. This is what you get for nothing. Okay. You get all of this stuff here, which we went through before. Here, you go to starter, which is what was suggested before. Now, I've got, let's say I've got over 2,000 contacts. So I would have to pay $54 a month. Okay. And that will get me, plus I get all the branding that's removed, and I get help fast, and I'd also get the analytics that were there blacked out before. And then you get from there, you can upgrade to some of the pro versions, but with where we're at, that will pretty much cover it all. Okay, so if we come back to HubSpot itself, and then we drop back into here, that gives you a good overview of what the email side of it will do, how you can stay in touch with your clients, and you get an idea of how effective that communication is in terms of, is it reaching the right people? Are they reading it? Do they not want to hear from you ever again? Is your actual database accurate? You know, are emails bouncing because there's errors in your data and your email addresses? If we look at this, sorry. Okay, now, here's where you can look at all the emails that you've sent out. Sorry, just stay on that for 1 second, and it will tell you those analytics over a time frame for everything. Okay, so you can actually have that overview of all your campaigns, okay, and get a feel for exactly how effective you're being. So if we drop back out of that and we come back into sales, and here's another, and this is a pretty cool, if you've got a staged sales process, okay, where you can actually set up with you can set up sales pipelines, okay, and you can have, basically you map the whole process out from when you've contacted them, so when they go from being a lead to being an opportunity to actually putting the deal in front of them. You could rename this if you wish, it doesn't have to be. I'll just put that away for a second. So you won't. And when you actually made the sale and how much money you brought in, and there's dollar values on all those, and you can export this to Xero. Okay, we'll integrate with Xero, so you've got that up-to-date accounting information. Now, this is something I did with a client the other day, is it will actually run through, let's click on that again, all the inbuilt help. There's actually a complete lesson on how to design that, so you don't have to go in blind and just make it up as you go along. HubSpot will train you and teach you how to use their own system. Very cool, and you do that at your pace when you want to do it. Again, that sort of flexibility is important, which is another reason that these systems really should be implemented in your business. If you've got any sort of need to stay in touch with your clients, you should have one. Okay, simply for free.
Kelby,
yeah.
Does that link, so when you said it had dollar values, does that link to like your .com, your e-commerce website?
You can actually integrate this into, WooCommerce, Magento, they all have integrations with HubSpot. Absolutely.
Okay. Right. So you would see then, for example, you would see if someone, say, signed up on a lead generation form, and then if they then move to, say, purchase, it would track that.
It'll flow through. That's right.
Okay.
It's not like it's not like a Kanban board where you've got to manually move them over every time.
Right. It does it automatically if it's linked up and synced and everything. Yep. Okay.
So say if you jump into here, it'll actually help you build that from start. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. And then, sorry to be jumping backwards and forwards, but this is one of the cool things it does for you. And of course, you can talk directly to somebody at HubSpot and get some feedback if all of that doesn't quite resolve where you're at. Okay. Again, sort by deal owners so you can see who's doing what in the zoo, when it started, activity dates, so you can go back and find those deals that might be going cold because they've been overlooked, or the client's simply fallen off the radar, or they've gone cold on it and start to resuscitate them. And you can sort by dollar value, and of course more filters to see where the big ticket items are up to, or rather a whole lot of little ones that people are ignoring because they're simply not exciting enough. Okay. Now, in the service side, this is where you set up support tickets. Okay. Now, again, they've got yet again another lesson. All right, they've got a whole article in the knowledge base on how to set up your support tickets, which is really just your way of staying in touch with customers outside of you emailing backwards and forwards. This is a way that you can track what's going on, new support tickets, which ones haven't been contacted, are they waiting on us to get back to them? All right, which is, you really want to keep that fairly low. You want to have that resolved and out the door, and which ones have been closed off, which is really, again, where you want issues to fit. Now, it's only a support pipeline here, but you can edit them and make more of them. And you can sort by which ones are open, which ones haven't been assigned to somebody to sort out, and have a look at the whole lot from on top. And again, as I said, very cool article on, I'm assuming, can you see these pop-ups, ladies?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool, excellent. And again, there's an article on how to create your tickets. Okay. Very easy to do, very, very straightforward in terms of how to set them up. Oops, sorry, if I'm going too fast. It's very straightforward, nice and easy to follow. I don't zoom like a maniac, and you can connect them up to your channels so you can show them where they sit in the pipeline. Now, in terms of automation, this has limited automation because this is a free version, okay, which you've got to pay for. And that's where Hubspot, with respect, can start costing you the money. Something like Keap has good automation at a lower price point. Capsule, which is the other one that I do a little bit with, has quite limited automation. It is very much a micro business CRM. Reporting, okay, with your analytics, I can show you what's going on with wizards on your website. So you have the tracker code lodged there, okay, and this is the big reason for it, is you personalize your marketing, okay. Marketing these days has moved well beyond the simply fire a shotgun at the forest and hope a bird falls out of a tree so you can have something to eat. Okay, it really has to be very targeted, very granular, where you're looking at a specific offer to a specific pocket of customers. Okay, and so not only can you personalize that and be very targeted in how you communicate with your customers, you can also track how well that's going. Okay, and again, analytics, it'll cover all of that off for you. You can also build some dashboards so that you can see at an overview where things are up to. And this is what, when you log on to HubSpot, this is what you're going to see. Is first up is this dashboard that will show you what's going on in the business as far as HubSpot's concerned. Okay. Again, very handy little tool, and you can simply modify it between your website, a marketing overview, a sales overview, and a service overview. Which one you use is really up to you if you use one at all, but you have the functionality there to give yourself an overview instantly of what's happening. So if there is something that really catches your attention, good or bad, you can dive straight into it without having to go through every part of the CRM to find out what's going on. Again, very, very handy. Now, because we're all having a chat here, I'm going to throw it over to you. If you have any more questions, anything you'd like to talk about. Okay, we'll just drop out of that for a second. There we go, we're all back. So, ladies, in terms of what you do, do you see any value in implementing a CRM, and what sort of challenges do you think you'll face in doing so?
For me, Kelby, I'm concerned that this is like just another place that I have to go. I guess because I've already got, like, I run my own WooCommerce website and I've got my own automations in MailerLite, like an onboarding sequence and lots of systems already in place. I guess I'm not sure how this will fit into that. And if that's just going to be, this is just like another thing that I have to manage and another thing that I have to check on.
Okay. If you're using a system like I was saying, let's have a look at how we implement that here at Business Station. We've got Hubspot as our contact database, and it drives our marketing campaigns from an email marketing side of things. We use MailChimp as the delivery service, but it's not the repository of the information. It's not the analytics side of things. If you've got WooCommerce feeding data into HubSpot and you've got MailerLite feeding data into HubSpot, as an example, no matter which one you use, or into your CRM, you've then got one system that talks to all of them. So instead of having to go to two systems, you simply go to one system and you're getting that data fed into there. So you've got that overview of what's going on across the business. So from that side of things, I would suggest it's a value there for you.
Okay.
I'm not sure what sort of analytics you get with MailerLite, and I don't know how some of the new privacy laws and the systems that are sitting behind that affect your bounce rates. But I would suspect that you get very similar data to that which HubSpot provides.
Yes, I do. The screens that you were showing look like similar. It's like you were saying, they call things different things, but they're the same thing.
I just had that exact conversation approximately hour and a half, about an hour and a half ago when I was talking about Mile. I said, look, accounting systems are accounting systems and CRMs are CRMs. They do fundamentally the same thing. The only differences are the language they use to pull the trigger. They just call things slightly differently, but they all have the same functionality. And they all generally supply the same sort of data to you. Some are bigger than others. For example, if you're set up the way you're talking, I wouldn't be thinking about using Capsule at all.
Oh, okay. Because that was the other one I was considering. No.
Okay.
The automation, limited automation.
Yeah, I just think for what you're doing, I think it's just a bit lightweight. I would sit down, and again, you can get like this is a free version of HubSpot. There's a free version of Keap. There's a free version of Capsule. Pop it into place and just get an account and just have a good hard look at it and poke it for a couple of days to see what it will actually do for you and how it will integrate. Okay, because you can always abandon it for virtually no cost and try another version. And again, it's the same with accounting systems. If you're having a look, they've all got free versions. Have a log on, set up an account and just see if the language talks to you. Because it may very well be that with Capsule that you find it's more intuitive for the way you think and it works better with you. And that's perfectly okay.
I found that I was on MailChimp actually, and I ditched it because it made no sense to me. And MailerLite just, I don't know, just clicked and I can actually use it. So even though I know it's a lighter platform and has less functionality, it just fits my brain better. So I did do that with the email marketing side of things.
And that, not only is there nothing wrong with that, that is actually common sense. If you've got the ability and the opportunity to try without any financial pain, then take the opportunity. Okay, because until you actually get into it. And this is what I say about a lot of the systems I talk about. Until you actually get into it and try and use it in your business, you don't know exactly how intuitive it's going to be and how it will suit the way you think and the way you operate, even though they all fundamentally do the same thing.
Yeah. And where does Zapier fit into it? I wrote that you have Zapier as part of Business Station. Do you need Zapier? Do you?
Oh, I don't think we do, but I don't pay the bills.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Look, to be honest, I wouldn't have gone about it that way, but whatever. That side is not my business. I get by doing what I do using HubSpot. I think they use Zapier for a lot of data collection and other stuff. So that's fine. That is what it is. Their call. Okay. I fundamentally don't care.
Yeah, but if you were looking at sort of doing maybe even like a minimum viable kind of setup, You don't need it.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
But Zapier is more like is an integration tool, an automation tool. And I think it is one way that you can automate some stuff at a very low cost. And I believe that's the reason they've gone down that path, is because they can, it's a little bit of mix and match. By putting the three together, they get the outcome they want without spending a bomb, which, to be honest, really honestly frank, HubSpot, when you start scaling up and using all the functionality, it can cost you an absolute mint. The flip side of that is that if you're using all that functionality, you then sit down and say, okay, how much time am I saving? How much additional productivity are we getting? Are we making more sales by doing all this? And what's that worth to us? So are we spending money on HubSpot, or are we investing in our business?
Yes.
Okay, that's where you need to look at with all of these systems, is that if we're going to spend $2,000 a month, which you can do with HubSpot very, very quickly.
Oh.
If you're going to be spending $2,000 a month, you're getting an awful lot of automation for $2,000 a month. So you may be saving 3 of your salespeople a day a month each. Okay, that's $700 a salesperson, which for some people is in effect a day's wage. So you've got them on the road for an extra day, or they're dealing with customers for an extra day at no cost to the business. So every sale they make is a bonus. Okay, that's good investment. We'll roll with that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it may just be that you want all that automation, but the benefit's not there, so you just don't do it. It's typically a case of cost benefit analysis.
Yeah. And is Keap good for email automation or automation? Yeah.
Yes. Keap has great automation. Actually, ladies, if you want to dive into those three specifically and see that sort of comparison, I moderated a webinar series on Capture, Keap and HubSpot earlier this year for Business Station, and we had Dante St. James talking about HubSpot, and again, because he uses it and he's a genius. We had David Letizia, who is a very smart operator out of Brisbane, who was talking about Keap, again, because he used it and all of his clients use it. And we had Alicia Minkfeld out of Perth talking about Capsule, because she uses it, a lot of her clients use it. And they dived right into those three and gave us some great insight on how, where, and when you would choose all of them. And the trick with Keap that David pointed out is, yes, it's great automation, but you need help setting it up. In fact, Keap have people that will help you set it up. And from where I sit, if I'm putting in place some software that I need somebody to come in and help me set up, then what happens when it's not working? Do I need to come back and fix it for me? I would rather have something that I can set up with some tutorials and some help, which they've all got. And then from there, run it here with minimal outside assistance required. Okay, to me that sounds a little complex, but as David said, superb automation. And once you start scaling up, it is cheaper than HubSpot to drive with those sort of features. HubSpot, the bigger you get, the better it gets, but then it starts costing you some money.
And when you talk about scaling up, are you talking about like the number of clients in the database? Is that like, or you're talking about functionality?
It's functionality, and with HubSpot, functionality is also measured by the number of contacts you have. So
okay,
and HubSpot is by the 1,000. So you saw that I had 941 or 61 contacts in there. Now, if I loaded them all up, I would immediately click over 2,000, which puts me in another price bracket.
Right.
Okay, so it's not only you pay more for functionality, you pay more for functionality per 1,000 contacts. And a lot of them are like that. So Beck, with what you do, is there any benefit in a CRM? Can you see how that would work for you?
That's why I came along, to try and sort of understand a little bit more. I'm in the early sort of setup phase, and I'd rather get things right than trying to fix them when you're in chaos.
Yeah, hey, that's a smart way to go. It's a lot easier to do that than to come back later and rip something out and put something new in place. Absolutely. So with your sales process, is it a multi-stage process?
I'll say yes.
Okay, so if we're tracking sales through time or through different stages, then a CRM will be very handy. Okay, obviously you've got clients then who you need to keep in touch with. Are you looking at repeat business from them, or are you more deal with you once and not see you again for 5 years type of business like a solicitor?
I think there will be some repeat customers, not saying they all will be.
Okay. Are you looking for referral business from your customers?
I'd like that, and also the potential of maybe even affiliates down the track as well.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. Long story cut short, get a CRM, end of that discussion. You absolutely need one with what you're doing. I've got no doubt about that. In terms of customer base, what sort of customer base or how big a contact list are you looking at?
I think it's going to grow exponentially over time, to be honest.
Okay. In terms of automation, as in people get in touch and there's an automated email goes out to them and then there's a follow-up after that, is that something you're looking for, or do you want to make it more personalized, or you're driving that yourself, or your team is driving that?
I'm thinking automated, but like I'd like the flexibility maybe.
Sure. Okay. I would recommend that you investigate both Keap and Hubspot and have a look at how they talk to you, because they're going to do, just based on what we're talking about, they're going to do what you want to do. Okay. They will give you that tool right there ready to roll. And there are a ton of integrations. Okay. So they will talk to your accounting system. They'll talk to your e-commerce systems. They'll build it all in. So you've got the one ring that talks to all the other rings. Sorry, Tolkien. In terms of which way you go, you just need to weigh up where you're going to be down the track, because changing CRMs, once you've got it in place and you've been using it for a while, is like having all your teeth pulled out and then having a new set put in with a blind dwarf using a 4-pound sledgehammer to set them in place. You probably don't want to go down that track.
No, I'd be interested in those reviews that you mentioned about the different ones that they had earlier in the year, because if Keap is going to be more financially viable, like once you get that bigger range, because I do see some people sort of sitting there for some time before they actually purchase, and it's like,
okay.
Do you want to knock them off, or keep your numbers low, or you just keep them there? You want to keep them there, don't you?
I like to keep people moving, even if they're only just moving slowly. Now, if they're sitting in the sales in the sales funnel and they're at the sort of opportunity or that inquiry stage and they're not quite committing to a product, then my initial reaction is to reach out and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey guys, is there something there that we need to vary for you? Do we need to personalize this for you? Is there some way that we can make this fit you better? Because you need to get them moving. If they're just sitting there in the pipeline, not making a decision, then they really are taking up space. You need to move them on. And there's an inquiry there. There's something there which they can't resolve. So you need to jump in and resolve that and move them further down the sales pipeline to making a decision.
I've also heard that some people consider, like, for example, on your mailing list, say for a year or so before they purchase as well. So
that depends on your product or service that you're offering.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's very true. Like, I've got people who I've known for years, so effectively they're on my mailing list because they see what I do. We stay in touch via various forms. I've done business with them for 3 or 4 years, and then suddenly they'll bring me in to spend 4 or 5 hours in the business and fix a few problems for them. And then I won't do business with them again for another 5 years. That's just the nature of what I do. Okay, I'm not a coach. I'm a problem solver, troubleshooter. If you've got me in your business on an ongoing basis, you've got more problems than I'm ever going to solve. Okay, so that really comes down to what you're doing and where you're at. And it depends on what product and service you're offering. It really does. I don't think it's an issue. I really don't think it's a problem. If they're on your mailing list and they're happy and content to continue receiving information from you, then great, keep them there. Because sooner, if they haven't kicked you off and blocked you or either unsubscribed, then there is a degree of interest in what you're offering. Curious. case, sooner or later, something they'll either have it and the need will come up with you, or they will see value in what you're doing for something else that's going on in their life. And away you go, you've made the sale.
Okay. I just might that those contacts will add to obviously your numbers and could, as you say, put you into that.
Absolutely, of course they do. Of course they do, but it then comes down to how you drive those marketing campaigns, and the nature of what you do. Like, what sort of product or service are you offering? In general terms, don't have to be specific if you don't want to.
It's more of a coaching business.
Okay. If it's a coaching business, I would suggest that contacting them via email is perhaps not the most effective if they're going to be there for a long period of time before making a purchase decision. Okay. There are other ways that you can keep them in the loop without doing that. For example, like a lot of my contacts are dealt with through LinkedIn, and I don't have to email them all. I simply do it through LinkedIn posts. I know that it's hitting their desktop, and they're actually having a read of where things are up to, and I get some feedback and some sales out of that. Another way is I'm a member of too many small business groups on Facebook, and again, it's just a case of the odd comment here and there. I reshare articles. I just stay on the radar, and again, business comes out of that. And also professional, networking groups and things like that. So your email database and your contact list is not the only way that you can stay in touch and drive those marketing side of things. Having said that, if you're going to put in place a CRM, you kind of really want everybody in there anyway, because they are potential customers. It may well be that if they're inactive, that you set up a second free HubSpot for the ones who are inactive, and you keep them there, and you only migrate them to the main one once they look like they're going to buy, or they have bought, and then they become a legitimate customer that you're going to invest some money into. It's another way of getting around that trigger. Noting the triggers are at the 1,000 mark. So once you go over, once you hit 2,000, then you've got obviously another 1,000 customers before it jumps up again. And with a lot of those, like if you have a look over here, I'll just share the screen again. Okay, if we go over here. There we go. The actual nice jump. That wasn't what I wanted. I forgot that's it. You would think after using it for this long, I would actually know the tricks this thing has, wouldn't you? There we go. See, you're only talking $18 a month per 1,000 contacts. Okay. So it's not a massive investment to add on another 1,000 people that you're reaching out to. Okay. So, and that's again, until you get up into the professional plans, which then, and see, they're all saying you can start spending some real money. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
It's an investment, ladies. Relax. It's an investment. Okay. It's an investment. Okay. And the reason being is that when you get into this scale, this is why I say you can spend some money with HubSpot. Oh, hell yeah. You can spend some coin. Okay. And it's not $18 a month everything. See that these are lots of 5,000. Okay. But again, it's more than 5 times 18. I'm going to show you of that. Okay. But here's all the other stuff you get that you can put in there within HubSpot. Okay. Just an example, Keap doesn't quite cost that much, but again, doesn't necessarily do this. Some very cool stuff you can do from within HubSpot. And again, this is not the only place you can do this though. It just gives you that one ring that rules them all. Okay. That's the beauty of these and of most CRMs. You've got it all in one spot. It integrates with everything. You only have to go to one spot to see what's going on.
Are these, what do you call it? Like web-based? So
This is all cloud-based, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's all
That's what I'm
backed
saying.
up. You don't need to worry about like saving it anywhere or.
Hello, because you can see here, like, I'm on my browser here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all on the web.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at sales automation, see, when you start throwing a few things on there, then see, sales is when you've got numerous users. Okay, and you want more analytics, you want more video, so you can do video messaging, and all from within HubSpot. See, some of this stuff you can do outside of HubSpot. You don't need, again, your CRM, in this case HubSpot, to do this for you. It's whether you want to do it in one spot where you've got that oversight in one spot. You're not flipping between platforms trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, but yeah, you can certainly spend some money here without too much drama at all. But having said that, like at a free level, in a small business environment and micro business environment, you get a lot for nothing. Okay, very, very handy. Okay. Now, look at that for a second, come back to here. We'll also give you chat flows. Now, I haven't done this because I don't need it. I don't do it. Okay, but we'll find a messenger. Okay, so you can actually set up that nice interactive chat, and again, it's all going through one setup. But you do need that tracking code, and it will tell you where your chat flow pops up. Okay. Now, what else, ladies? I've got a couple of minutes before I'm going to wind this up. So how else can we add some value to your day?
I think I'm good. I think I've definitely got somewhere to start with. If you could, is there a way that we can get a link to that, or where do we go to see that comparison that you were talking about earlier?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I'll drop out of that for a second. Okay, that is very simple and easy to do. All you need to do is go to the Business Station channel on YouTube, and you'll find us all in there with a bit of searching. Or you could, hang on a second, let's get really tricky here and see let's see what I've done. Here we go. We go here, we go there. There we go. So that is what we call an email address. So you can just go there. If you email me, I will find the links and send them back to you.
Yeah, okay. I should be able to find it on YouTube.
Have a dive around. Beck, do the same thing, Beck, and just have a listen to what these three have to say. There's three of them. There's three webinars. It was a basic, intermediate, and advanced level for the three of them. Okay, so effectively you've got 9 chats if you want to get really technical. But yeah, sit down and watch. They're an hour each. Okay, so you get 3 hours of it's like minestrone, a little bit of everything, and you can have a listen to some people who actually really know a specific CRM in depth, and they go on about it at some length. But in particular with Keap and HubSpot, it's worth having a good listen to. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, ladies, I'm happy to have helped you. It's always good to be able to help people. Actually, as curiosity, are both of you part of the digital business package, or have you come in via Eventbrite?
Yeah, I'm part of the package. Yeah.
Okay, who's your advisor?
Karen, I want to say.
You want to say Karen?
Hang on. Let me check.
For sure. Karen doesn't ring a bell. Let's just say it that way.
Robin, maybe? I'm guessing. I don't know.
You are guessing.
Hang on. Let me check my emails. Surely there's one from her in here.
Hang on. Gwen. Sarah Davis, perhaps?
That's her.
Yeah, good day.
Sarah.
Okay. Sarah is a marketing rock star. Okay. She and I are actually part of the South East Queensland team. And
yeah, I'm on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, she's actually part of my team within that team. So yeah, she is great value. So it's yes.
Yes.
And Beck. Now, Beck, if I'm guessing correctly, you're from Victoria?
Yeah.
Cool. So in relation to digital solutions, we can't help you, but there is a provider based in Melbourne who can put you into the 7-hour package.
I googled it last night and I've got an appointment this afternoon because I had no idea and I found you guys first, so I thought I'd watch your content since I found you.
Cool. Okay, well, have a chat with the people in Victoria, because that way you get some actual one-on-one help on topics that you need, that you want help on, as well as, of course, access to all these webinars.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies, that pretty much wraps us up for this morning. Thank you very much for attending. For those of you who are watching this at home later on, watching the recording at a more civilised time of day when you can actually sit down and put some time into it, take your time, enjoy it. You've got my email address there on that last slide. If you've got questions, fire up, send them to me. I guarantee you I will answer them, and we can dive into this in a bit more depth. But for now, that's us. We're done. Thank you very much. I hope I've helped, and I look forward to chatting to you in the future. Cheers.
Thanks, Kelby.
Bye, ladies.